Oh hey, welcome back to another video. I want you to picture this in your mind. You and your teammates are about to win yet another game of squads in Fortnite. You suddenly hear a glider coming in. You alert your teammates and they get ready to attack. However, the enemy starts sweating, doing retakes, cranking knives, and editing like crazy. One by one, the enemy shoots and sprays to eliminate your teammates. After one long and tough minute of fighting, your squad has been wiped out by the enemy, as the emotes and laughs in victory. What the enemy did was the thing players like to call solo squatting. In other words, a sweat would go on don't fail in a squads game and sweat it all out to garner a high kill game aggressively. Solo squatting ain't new in Fortnite though. It's been around as early as the first few seasons of Chapter 1. Solo squatting is a very interesting type of content one Fortnite content creator would do, and also aggressive at the same time. So today I'm going to give my quick and honest thoughts on solo versus squads content on Fortnite YouTube and determine whether it's horrible or not. But of course, before we begin, it would be appreciated if you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Also, I have a TikTok account, so be sure to follow it by clicking the link in the description. Anyways, let's begin the video. When you think of solo squatting, you think of aggressive gameplay, toxicity and sweating, intense fighting, and much, much more. You'll also see some players wearing the best of the best sweat skins, such as Dynamo, Dark Bomber, Focus, Aura, and more. Now that I gave a brief explanation of what to expect in solo versus squads content, I'm going to try my best to give a rundown of how a generic and aggressive solo versus squads game would go. Apologies if I keep saying aggressive, it's the only good word to describe solo versus squads content. After I describe my generic rundown, I have a task for you guys. Go down in the comment section and let me know if my generic rundown was fairly accurate. If not, suggest some things I could improve to make my rundowns more accurate. Without further ado, here's my best attempt at giving a generic rundown of an aggressive solo versus squads game. You load into Spawn Island, harvesting mats to build structures and warming up by simply editing them as fast as possible. Then the battle bus is ready to take off. You think the bus driver, you head to the place where most squads will go, such as the Sanctuary, Cove of the Cavern, Tilted, or wherever in the map is considered to be a hotspot. You then get as many guns and shields as you can to wipe out all the people that landed with you. You use the most common and efficient weapons most people would use in the game's current meta. Once you're done wiping out the POI, you then try to find a mobility device to move around the map to kill people for better loot, while trying to avoid the storm. Near the end of the game, after sweating, cranking 90s, and editing fast to send the players back to the lobby, you have the most efficient loadout one can have. A strong shotgun, a spamming weapon, a mythic, and some proficient meds to use in emergency situations. There are only 2 squads left to wipe out. Not surprisingly, you once again sweat, crank 90s, and edit so fast to obliterate the remaining squads. You then earn a number 1 victory royale as usual. You celebrate by flexing your Reddit and building skills, or just use a toxic or random emote on the people that spectate you. Phew. That was my best attempt at summarizing a generic solo versus squads game. Why don't you give me your thoughts and feedback in the comments below? Now that has been taken care of, it's time to give my honest thoughts on solo versus squads content on YouTube. When I first watched it, at first I didn't like it because they seemed to be too sweaty and toxic, but as time passed by, I learned to appreciate the people who do these types of content even more. Solo squatting is also a good way to increase one's skills and get better at the game. If I were to try that, this will 100% definitely help me become better at the game. If you don't know by now, I'm just a casual player who plays the game normally and tries not to sweat too much. But since the majority of the players who play the game are much sweatier and above decent than before, I kind of feel like I have to get better at the game somehow, sooner or later. But yeah, overall, solo versus squads content on YouTube is proficiently interesting to say the least. It also proves that Fortnite is a game where being sweaty and toxic is the new normal. It's pretty sad to see that games like Fortnite have a community with lots of horrible people. Sweats, toxic people, bad YouTubers, and controversial people. I really do miss the old days where Fortnite was much more simple and cool. Also, you should know by now that I'm somewhat an OG person in Fortnite. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Once again, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. With that being said, see you all in the next video.